Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started the Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. Afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and to share their experience and knowledge with you. I hope you enjoy it. Brenda, thank you for being here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And you?
I can't complain. It's a pretty nice day. All is well. The podcast is going to be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you knew that this was the way to go? So, Brenda, tell us what you do for a living.
Um, okay. What I'm doing for a living right now is working. I am accounting analyst in Cargill. In Portuguese, we pronounce like Cargill, but in English, it's Cargill. But I'm not getting used to speaking Cargill. That's the reason.
It takes a
And
while, and in Asia, it's pronounced in a different way. I had the pleasure to speak with folks from all over the world. So, definitely don't worry
mm,
about the pronunciation because it's definitely every region has its own way to say things. So, don't worry about that at all.
that's That's nice because, for example, our name, my name in Brazil is not like Brenda, it's Brenda. So it's
Brenda.
a little bit different, but it's so
But then
all
again, this is
right.
because it's a Latin language, Brazil and Southern America,
Yeah.
yes, Portuguese and Spanish. It's those are Latin languages, and you can even go on YouTube and see it. There was this interview with Antonio Banderas and folks that are like that, Latin folks, Spanish folks, Portuguese, Latin America. They can make everything sound sexy. It doesn't matter what you say. Like you can say Cargio or something. It doesn't matter, and it's in the language. It's over there, so that's definitely not something that can be that people should be surprised at that point. Literally, you can just went to somebody and tell them that they're fired, and they should expect a band of mariachi over there because it literally sounds so hot and good. It's a remarkable language. I'm sorry, I've never had the option to learn it, but maybe one day I will. So no
Yes,
worries about that, my dear.
that's okay. And so that's it. What I'm doing right now for living. Um, Not much more than this because I've been studying accounting for a long time now, and I'm improving it in continuing studying. I graduated in 2018, so 4 years now. But um, I'm living in a small city in Brazil, but I'm from São Paulo, so I'm not used to live like that, but I'm moving to Uberlândia, where is Cargill right now.
Say it as you said. No,
And
that's not. Say it as you will. Don't even think about it.
the, in Uberlândia is
Don't
my
worry
God,
about it. That every now and
my
then we do have some technical
my
issues, and every now and then they're actually on my end as well. So no worries. That kind of
okay,
stuff happens all the time. Uh,
my phone just
I remember.
dropped.
I don't remember who it was. I think it was a friend of mine from France, and we were having this interview, and he was talking, and a cat jumped right behind me.
So
Is everything all right out there? Do we need to start over? Like, nah, he does that.
that's that's absolutely normal when you are at home.
Yeah, yes,
Everything could happen if you have any pet or any
absolutely. So don't
children.
worry about it.
So
You've
and
mentioned that you actually studied about accountant. You just didn't study. You actually went there to study. So you kind of like went a little bit to the second question. How'd you get there? So you kind of like already gave the answer, but then again, did you study like accounting or finance in general?
no, I actually my first um, graduation was commercial management, but then I graduated in accounting. And then I continued learning about, and I graduate in, it's a master, actually. I got
As a
my
master's degree.
master degree in controllership, audit, and compliance. It
Nice.
is,
So I've never been
it
in
is
this situation
accounting.
before for all the time I'm doing interviews, but we kind of have to combine the two questions because you're an interesting case. Uh, so the second question is how did you get there, and the third one was how did you knew that this was the way to go. But it's kind of gonna be mixed here because you actually knew what you were going to study, and afterwards either Cargill or another company, you would have been an accountant anyways. So, and I also studied accounting. I've spent the last decade or so in a financial sector. I was never, well, not never, but not exactly involved in the pure accountancy. I was a consultant at some point here and there, but wasn't really involved. And I'm talking to people from all over the world, but you can do finance, you can do AR and AP, you can handle GL account, but
Yeah.
accounting is accounting. Now that's something different. And honestly, you cannot do it unless you actually like it, unless you feel that this is your calling. This isn't the IT sector when you can hate your job, but in the end of the month or at the end of the week, whenever you're receiving the paycheck, you can hate your job. But when you see the paycheck, you're like, yeah, I can do that for 4 more years. Not an issue. But that's not how it works in administration. And especially that's not how it works in accounting. Yeah, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's right.
that's how I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yes.
what I'm seeing from folks all over the world. So this is interesting. I've never had this before to combine the two questions. How did you knew that this was the way to go? Because, yeah, like, how did you figure it out? Was it like a gut feeling? Were you influenced by somebody, parents, father, or something? Did your friends have any friends?
Actually,
Yeah, go on.
actually, I was talking with some friends at the time, and I
Speak a
know
little
it
bit
was.
louder for me, please.
Oh,
Yeah,
are you listening to
just a
me
little
right
bit
now?
louder.
Okay, are you listening?
Perfect.
Okay. At the time when I had to decide what what I'm gonna do for my boyfriend at the time. Now he is my husband. So, and what accounting is something that you always have a job. And the
Yeah.
time I needed one job, so I went for it. I started studying and I got a job. I was an intern for 2 years while I was in the university. And then I got another job as an auditant in another company. I think it is a global company as well. It's called Deloitte.
Yeah, I know of it.
So I worked there
It's a pretty
as
I
well.
love the fact that
And chose to English.
I love the fact that you went through a couple of major
And
companies, because if you really think about it, uh, you kind of have this sense of measurement to figure it out, to realize how different sectors work, how different teams are working, and etc. etc. So it really helps to be in a major company. Yes, yes, sometimes things are a little bit slower. I mean, not government slow, but a little bit slower. But overall, you kind of have this sense of how a well-oiled machine is working, and I think this is a pretty important thing for young people.
yes, I think mostly you have to talk with others to know the others' experience, and now and then you can think if it is for you or it's not. But you definitely have to embrace the opportunities you have, because I most of my life I've done this, and in these opportunities I had the most amazing experience, like this one we are doing today,
Yeah,
because I'm just go for it, and then I can learn new things and study new things, and that's how work life. Yeah, I think that's my one thing that I want to share here. That's my husband. He's like he loved talking about professional life, and he's helped me since we started dating.
well, I should
So
call him on the program then.
yes, absolutely. He he will love it, because he now he's working like in IT, and he's speaking in English every day in this Indian company. So he will love it, definitely.
Definitely.
I'm not used to, yes, I'm not used to speaking English every day, because in my position right now, my job right now, I don't need it.
That's what I
I
love
don't need
about
to do it.
accountants. You guys don't really need to speak. I just have to show you a couple of numbers and you'd be fine with that.
But I think it is
Me, on the other
really,
hand, because I'm in the financial department, it doesn't matter what kind of a number you're gonna show me, I'm never gonna be happy. Nah, it has to pump it up. No, those are rookie numbers. It doesn't work like that. I had a guy on my show and we were talking about it, and he said, "Well, you know, it's always difficult to talk to finance because if it's you have to double the investment." And I said, "Well, yeah, if it's not double, it's a zero. We're the only people on the planet who honestly believe in themselves. If it's not double, it's zero. So don't even show it to me." So yeah, but it's definitely more pleasant to talk to accountants.
yes. It is. Yeah. What I'm doing right now in Cargill is like challenging, and most of accountants don't want to do it, but
Yeah.
I'm going really well, and I, I think you know very much about it. Freg that I can pronounce. Like I I don't know, because I've never talked about what I'm doing right now in English, but
Right. Well, you
it's
don't really
called
need to. This was basically the example
Freg.
because you're a perfect example about this, because you actually went over there, you studied about it, and now you're doing it, no looking back. The reason I actually did the whole thing, the reason I created the whole program was because, and I'm sure you have those examples in Brazil as well. People just out of pure ego or out of misguidance are going to universities and colleges just to have this degree or this title in front of their name, doctor, lawyer, engineer. And I'm not against universities, against academia or anything. I'm not against doctors. I'm just highlighting the fact that you shouldn't be doing this out of it because you want to have this title in front of your name. Because you, and this is why I wanted you on this program, and this is why I highlighted you, because clearly you love what you're doing. And it's impossible, from my perspective, it's impossible to be a happy person if you hate what you're doing 9 hours a day. It simply doesn't work like that. And you're going to be miserable. And it's
Yeah.
okay to be, well, it's never okay to be miserable, but I guess it's fine when you're alone. But well, if you have a family, then you're gonna bring this misery into your family life, and this will never end good. This will never end well. And this is why I'm collecting all of those examples, just to show people that there really are another option. I think we all know what we want to do, and we all have it inside us. But because of ego, because of misguidance, like this stigma, I hate this, and this is why I call it stigma. Uh, you have to have a diploma to secure your future. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Just because you have a diploma doesn't mean your future is secure. And just because you don't have a
No,
diploma
not at all.
doesn't mean you're going to live in a bad life.
Not at all.
So
Yeah,
this is
yeah, I
why I
agree.
wanted you here, because you're a perfect example, just textbook, poster girl. Like you went over
Yeah,
there, you knew what you were going, and it was perfect. Brenda or Brenda, if if you have an advice to give to the folks that are watching the program, what's it gonna be?
I'll give you an example. I have two siblings. They are younger than me, and they didn't go to the college. Uh, at, and but they are young, and I try to give them some advice. And I think you really have to study. It's not because you have to graduate in university, but you have to know what you want to for your future. And, and you have to embrace the opportunity you have in the moment because they couldn't come back to you at some point in your life. So if you have this opportunity right now, you have to embrace it. If you and you have to study. I think you cannot run away of it. It is for life, forever. You have to study
You
every
gave them a
day.
good advice, and if you really think about it, if you go over there and you study and you fail, the best thing about it is you're gonna fail inevitably. So better to fail when you're young and the challenges that are in front of you aren't that severe. It's one thing to fail in your 20s. Believe me, it's completely different to fail in your 30s. I don't know what the feeling is to fail in my 40s because I'm not there yet, but when you fail as a young person, you cannot inflict a lot of damage because you're not really that significant. And I'm not saying
Yes,
that people at that age aren't significant. I'm saying that the damage that can cause doesn't affect that many people. And
yes, definitely.
that was a very
Yeah,
good example, Brenda. I
because
couldn't have said it better myself.
first, yeah, because frustration it is part of your life, but when you are on your 20s, as you said, it's easier to deal with it, and then you can you can go through it. But when you get older, it's getting difficult to deal with frustration because now you have been studying, you have been and in much more experiences, and you don't have to get frustrated all the
Yeah.
time. But it's part of life, and mostly when you are young, when you are in your 20s, as you said. That is definitely true. I'm trying to advise them, my siblings, for example, about it, but at this age, it's really difficult
Well,
to
it's a
hear.
good thing to
Yeah,
give an advice, but if they are to ignore it and to fail on their own terms, they have the right to do so. So it's part of the growth. It's something that well, it's something
yeah,
we're all
definitely.
going through. So
For this one, I'm
definitely,
not used to.
yeah. Again, those earbuds happen all the time. This is why I mostly have speakers on the monitor and a mic over here. So yeah, but don't worry. Again, Brenda, thank you for being on the program. It was an awesome episode. I really appreciate your time. I wish you all the best, my dear.
Thank you for you too. I'm happy
Right on.
to share my experience here with you.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Gap, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.